This is part two on a series I'm doing to help us feel more interconnected. And this topic is on consciousness. And I'll start off with a quote that's sort of famous between us consciousness researchers, and it goes something like this. On the topic of consciousness, nothing worth reading has ever been written. And there's a certain truth to that. In the same way that the Tao Te Ching starts off with, the Tao that can be spoken, the Tao that can be written is not the eternal Tao. And that right at the beginning gives us the relationship between mind and consciousness. Mind comes out of consciousness. It's limited, it's finite. Consciousness is infinite and unlimited. And so right there we have the relationship. Think of it this way. Imagine we had this infinite energy source and it was surrounded by this enclosure, but there were billions, limitless holes or apertures cut in the enclosure. And so imagine all these billions of streams of light emanating out of this light source. And all of these different lights feel very different. They're physically separate. And they would feel that way. And that's only because they're focused in a certain direction going outward. If they could for a moment pause and turn around and see their source, they would immediately feel this sense of interconnectedness. And that would help explain so many things that the mind finds either a coincidence or just dismisses, or it dismisses as a coincidence or finds it as a complete mystery. Things like empathy, that immediate connection we have with people, or synchronicity, these kind of acausal coincidences that are really a mystery to the mind, but we feel they feel meaningful at the time. And the sense of being stared at. How is it that people, and the psychology dismissed this a long time ago, but a lot of the current research suggests that there really is something to this. How is it you can feel when, another one of these kind of individuals are looking at you when you're cut off from all sensory information? And so, if this is all true, why does it feel like we're so separate? Well, it's just a certain way of experiencing the world. In fact, you have so many mindless episodes during the day, and that's actually a good way to put it. Now, we think mindlessness is a bad thing because the mind thinks itself is so important. But to be mindless is to walk out your front door and be taken over by the sense of the sound of birds singing, or to be driving and all of a sudden you have no sense of self and you are just one with the car, one with the road. And this happens for you, like playing a musical instrument. There's so many ways that this can happen where for a while the self dissolves, the ego is gone, and that's you turning around for just a brief moment and getting a glimpse of the actual source. And you can feel this sense where it's infinite, it's eternal, and it's not based on time like our stories. Our stories are really personal, and if you can cultivate a few of those moments and realize the mind is purposely trivializing those experiences so you don't feel this connection, so you can have this kind of adventure of being this spiritual being in a human body for just a temporary period, and that can lead to an awesome adventure. But when it really gets frightening and scary, it's often really helpful to look back and kind of remind ourselves of that infinite source that we are all connected to. So let me know what your mind's thoughts are on that topic.